This is my review of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Okay, so in this episode, Rimuru actually gives all of his plans on how to become a demon lord and explains all of his reasoning and also formulates a plan of attack to actually become a demon lord. So, yeah, a lot of this episode is about exposition, and plot development, and as well as a little bit of preparation. But this episode is important for that reason because it does establish what's going to be happening in the next episode, and also gives Rimuru some much needed exposition to the rest of his team and about how he came to be. So, yeah. This episode actually starts off with Rimuru recounting the story that Eren told him about basically we know it's Milim. It's heavily implied to be Milim, but he basically tells the story about how Milim became a demon lord and explains that he plans to become a demon lord because he believes that even if it's a 3% chance, there is a chance that he'll be able to resurrect everybody, and also explains that he feels partially responsible for what happened, pointing out that if he had gotten home sooner, he probably would have been able to save a couple of people, but everybody else decides to chime in, stating that they feel equally responsible for a bunch of different reasons. But he merely tells them all that the fault mostly lies with him. At which point he finally explains how he came to be, and finally explains that once upon a time he used to be a human, until he died, was reincarnated as a slime, hence the title of the series. And explains how the reason he set up the rules the way he did was because he believed that all humans were inherently good people, and being a former human himself, he didn't want to attack anybody out of the blue because he felt like he could cause some serious problems if he did. At which point everybody seems to understand that, and even embrace their undying loyalty to him a bit, because they point out that it doesn't really matter who he was before, just so much as who he is now, and that they respect him, and he even refers to them as family. So he has a high opinion of them as well. And he's also moved by the fact that they continue to have such high expectations from him. And Benimaru and Hakuryu also point out that it is entirely their fault, pointing out that they had gotten complacent in allowing Rimuru to protect them all the time, and that's how they got wiped out. They got careless, and then a lot of them died. So, and they don't plan on doing that ever again in the future. And at which point Rimuru explains why he wants to be a demon lord, and that he wants to, after Garp asks what they're going to do with the humans going forward, he explains that he realizes now that humans can be either good or evil, and that's ultimately dependent on their situation. That he wants to create an environment where they can learn to be better people if they're not, and to embrace their good sides as people if they can. And everybody quickly figures out that's part of the reason why he wants to be a demon lord, pointing out that it's kind of hard to go at war with a nation of monsters if one of those monsters is a confirmed demon lord, and also that simply by view of being a demon lord, Rimuru will be able to basically make everybody else fall in line and realize that negotiation is a better response than trying to wipe them all out. So in lieu of that, they're probably going to fall in line pretty quickly and realize that they should probably negotiate rather than try and fight through brute force and try to take over that way. And Rimuru basically confirms all this, pointing out that his dream is to create an ideal world where every race can be at peace and that the line between human and monster is blurred. And that being a demon lord is going to be the first step toward doing that. And Shuna even remarks that she supports Rimuru in that dream because it is a noble one, and even if it is a bit idealistic, she realizes that Rimuru will be more than likely to pull it off because of who he is. And with that, Rimuru then begins to prepare everybody on their mission briefings. As he points out, there's a mix of allied force of people coming to wipe out Tempest again and try to take it over again. and it's more than double of what he needs to actually ascend to become a demon lord, as we've already established. It's like a mix of mercenaries, people from Falmouth, Templars, and a couple of magic users. It's not evenly mixed, but it's mixed enough. And Rimuru even remarks that he's going to prepare everybody to go to war. And everybody immediately asks what their position is going to be, what they can do to help. And his initial response is nothing. He points out that in addition to himself, in addition to being partially responsible for what happened, and also taking full blame for what happened, he openly remarks out loud that the reason he wants to become a demon lord, that he wants to take on everybody himself, is because that's a requirement for becoming a demon lord. It's pure and simple. He needs to take them all out himself, or he won't ascend. Which everybody openly respects, but then asks what they can do to help instead. At which point he begins laying out the groundwork. He points out that there are four crystals generating the first layer barrier outside the temple, and that everybody needs to divvy up their forces to take them all out. And basically, how he distributes it is that Benimaru is going to attack to the south and wipe them out there. To the east is Hakaru, Geld, and a couple of others are going to take it on. And Gabiru and his men are going to take out the force to the north, and everybody else will take on the force to the west. And the idea is that he's going to take them all out in one fell swoop and then shut down the barrier from the outside. Which is his plan. But he also tells Shuna that he needs her help, especially because, as he points out, the barrier is likely the only thing keeping Shuna and the other souls in. So he kind of needs her to put up another barrier once the third one falls, so that way it's more of a guarantee that they'll stay. Not a big guarantee, as even Shuna admits, but Shuna's willing to do it because even if it's a 1% chance of increasing the odds of them staying, that she's more than willing to do it. And Rimuru even requests that Mulan help her as well, pointing out that Mulan has already done it once. She might as well help do it again. But this time to benefit people. And Mulan openly agrees with Grusha's Yom and Aaron's party agreeing to serve as bodyguards so that nobody comes even close to the two girls as they just try to set up their magic barrier. And with that, everybody breaks and begins to prepare for preparations. With Rimuru realizing that he now needs to go and get ready himself, and he does. He turns into his human form. Well, human form, but then as he transforms, he begins to realize something. He quickly realizes this is what Clayman's after. As he quickly surmises, Clayman most likely hasn't ascended to become an actual demon lord yet, and is only calling himself a demon lord when he isn't actually one. And that his plan is most likely to start a war between Tempest and every other neighboring nation until he can get the 10,000 souls he needs. So Rimuru realizes that he can save Clayman for later, and goes off to go take out the encampment where the rest of the 10,000 soldiers are. So he plans to go wipe them out. But in any case, with that, everybody begins to go to their prep work. Sui and his party reunite with Gabiru and his friends, and Gabiru prepares to go to war with these dragon newts in tow, and prepares to go wipe them all out, while everybody else goes to their respective assignments. And Rimuru looks out over the encampment of all the soldiers that are approaching, and proclaims that they're all going to be food for him to nourish his demon lord powers. So yeah, that's how this episode ends, with everybody preparing to go to war and preparing to face off against the humans and clear them all out, so that not only do they learn pretty quickly not to mess with Rimuru and his followers, but now Rimuru can actually ascend to become a demon lord now, because he has more than enough souls that he can absorb as sustenance for his demon lord seed that he has, which he can now use to become a true demon lord, which is going to be exciting. That's going to be an interesting mid-season climax, because this season is going to be split up between now and whenever summer is. Sometime in the middle of the year is when this is going to come back as summer anime, not necessarily a winter one, which is what they did last year, which is acceptable. But yeah, we've only got a couple of episodes left in the season, so that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. But for the time being, that's gonna do it for my review of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well if you want to help support the show. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks I'm always saying thanks, so be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Also, if you want to see more videos from me, then be sure to check out the videos linked in the end screen. The top video is the most recent video. It may or may not be this. The bottom video is the most recent video, is the video that's most recommended to you based on what you've already seen. So if you want to see either of those, then be sure to check either of those out. But regardless of whether or not you do any or all of those things, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!